I'm living with my mom currently. My girlfriend lives with her mom too. I haven't worked since. It's been like probably 3 or 4 years since I worked. I was a nasty, evil teenager. I was rotten. I basically just cover my minimum payments on 2 maxed out credit cards that I have. And that's really all that I can afford to cover on a monthly basis. We pretty much bought all our tickets for this whole year. This whole year's worth of concerts early this year for a discounted rate. I made 67 albums and I released those.
How much money did you make from those 67 albums?
About $200 total. My name is Skyler. I was born and raised in West Palm Beach, Florida, and money has never been something I cared a lot about. It's always been a means to an end for me, and it's felt like the evil necessity I must indulge to survive at times, but I'm not very good with money, so that's why I'm here.
Okay. So it's interesting the way you said that you never really cared for money. And I'll tell you, what I've seen is that money is like every other relationship. If you don't care for a relationship, you generally get what you give into a relationship. You're not caring for your spouse. It's likely that your marriage is rocky. How has this marriage been between you and money? You don't care for money. How has money treated you in return?
Yeah, I've been feeling that a lot, especially with jobs lately. I've been applying to certain jobs, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't really want this. And I think they know that in the back of their minds. They're like, I don't really want this either. This guy doesn't want to work here. And I feel the burden of money, like when the bills come. And then aside from that, I failed to care about it enough. But yeah, I get that. I get what I give in return, or give what I get in return.
Right. So the thing is, you don't have to be over caring or be too money, what we call as money minded. Right. But being appreciative of money and knowing that this is something which is required, which gives you a lot more flexibility in the world to do what you really want to do. So at this time, do you have a stable source of income?
I don't. I teach music. It's usually once a week. It's been once every 2 weeks now. It's just, I teach to some homeschool kids. I teach art and music. And aside from that, I really don't make much money. I do a little cleaning now and then for some money. I sell a painting now and then. And I get my revenue from my music streams, which is next to nothing.
Okay. So you're trying your hand in different things, but I understand that money is tight. If you were to just give a broad guess of how much you would be bringing per month on an average, and I know it can vary with the situation that you have, but either monthly or annually, can you get me a figure for the audience to feel where you are financially?
Yeah, as far as what I can consistently rely on, it's probably like less than $800 a month I'm bringing in. Yeah, definitely less than 800, maybe around 600.
So that's a pretty stark, 600 to 800 a month. And you live in West Palm Beach? How do you manage to live there?
I'm living with my mom currently. I've been here trying to figure things out, and my girlfriend lives with her mom too. We would love to live together, but to live comfortably in this area, it costs like $2,700 a month just to get by.
I would agree. So you're saying you're still living your month. How old are you?
I'm going to be 34 next month, so I'm 33 right now.
33 and forced to live with mom. So did you have to move back with mom, or you never moved out? What is the story?
I moved out for a while. I lived in Chicago, and I couldn't really make it on my own up there. It was very expensive, but I was in a bad place in my life at the time. I was really depressed and had really bad insomnia. I'd be up for 72 hours at a time. Um, and I couldn't find work. I remember one day up there, my friends and I were all desperate for a job, and we all put on suits and ties and went to the mall like we're going to get some executive job. It's like we were overdressed even for some of these, I don't know, but I've never been very good at getting jobs. I've been okay at keeping them when I've had them. It's always been stuff that was never fulfilling. It was like Chinese delivery, and I don't know. The best job I ever had was working for a production company, and it was just a temp job that rolled over into a contract position, like a independent contractor. And when that ran out, the contract ran out, and that was it. And I haven't worked since. It's been like probably 3 or 4 years since I worked.
I see. It'd be interesting to know why you're in that situation. What I understood is that you were not happy with your financial situation and not having a stable job or income source when you were in Chicago a few years ago, and then you had to move back home. I'm trying to understand first, what is the genesis of it? So let me ask this, what kind of qualification you have? Like before you went into the job market, did you do college?
Yeah, 2013, I got my music degree, my AA from Palm Beach State College, and then I got my bachelor's in philosophy in 2016 from Florida Atlantic University.
So you do have a bachelor's degree, even though it is in philosophy.
I do.
But you did go to college. Okay. And tell me this, who paid for the college?
My mom and dad, when I was a little kid, they enrolled in Florida Prepaid, which really helped me out. Basically, it was a program that let them lock in the rates of whenever they bought into it, around 3 maybe. So they invested in it over the years, and all my college courses were based on the price of 1993.
Okay.
So that's what made it affordable for me to go. In fact, that's what motivated me to go at all. I wasn't really planning on going, and then it was like a bit of an obligation.
So it is...
Yeah, it's like, why not?
But that's so great. If we just look at this thing alone, your parents did something great. Not only they planned ahead financially, they invested in this plan. So they had money when the kid like you were ready to go to college, but you're saying that this was a motivation for you to not drop out of college or not do college. So it's a double win. I think it's very smart of your parents to do something like that.
Yeah. Even when I got my AA, I partly thought about just stopping there. And in retrospect, I'm really grateful I went and finished my bachelor's degree. And regardless of what jobs it's landed me so far, it has gotten me a few jobs, I would argue, but it's really just enriched my life. Like studying philosophy at FAU was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had, and it really shaped who I am as a person.
Okay, that's good to hear. Now, going back to your parents' investment in your education, I'm assuming that they started pretty early, like you said, and they paid into it for several years probably, did they?
Yeah, I'm not sure about I know it was fully paid off. The 4 years of college was fully paid off by the time I went to college. My mom and dad split up when I was like 12. I know my dad at least contributed for a good while, and probably thereafter too. I don't know.
Glad that you brought that. In the sense, that was my next question, and you preempted it. Because your parents planned when you were very little, my question was, do you think they would have still managed to pay for education if they would have not prepaid it, like when you were actually going to college? And since they split up, I'm sure they would have led to more complications. Would you agree?
Yeah, I don't think they would have been able to. I'll say this, like my mom at least would go above and beyond for me for anything. She would do everything in her power to, if I really wanted to go, same thing now. If I wanted to go get a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, she would support that. it would be tough for both of us. And I would have to find some sort of program to maybe get a stipend for living expenses. I've considered doing that too, but when I looked into a master's program before, they implied that I should really only do it if I wanted to teach. And at the time, I didn't really want to teach. And now I find myself teaching anyways. It's like you fall into it, whether you like it or not.
But you're saying that you believe that your mom would have done whatever it takes, but it would have been financially difficult, right? It was much easier parents to plan when the kid was much younger because of multiple factors.
Yeah.
First, definitely they were able to lock in rates, right? And you can plan better when time is on your side. When they have 20 years to plan, it's easier rather than saying now you're next year college, there is college, how will you pay for it? And then life happens.
Right.
You never know. Nobody plans for it. But whether there'll be a divorce in the family, there'll be a death in the family, there'll be medical issues in family, you never know, right? I think, again, a message from your experience, one takeaway for my audience is, if you are a parent, plan for your kids' college early and don't sort of leave it for later.
Yeah, it was a huge boon for me and a blessing. I'm still very grateful to both of them for having done that for me.
But now tell me this. You were so lucky that your college was paid for. Who advised you to pick up music and psychology? Like, why not take some more rewarding, so to say, streams?
I couldn't help it. I've been into music since I was a little kid, and I've been writing and recording my own music since I was like 12. It's been a long time coming, and I wanted to study music for a variety of reasons. I was in a band at the time, and I still play music. I function as a solo musician these days, but I've always been really drawn to music. And philosophy, I actually decided to go to get that degree because of a professor I had at PBSC named, I think, Douglas Phillips. And he was like one of the best professors I ever had. He was a former neurosurgeon, and he just got me into philosophy on a whole other level. I had good friends too that we would sit around the fireplace outside, out back, and we would talk for hours and about philosophical conversations and stuff.
Okay.
That's what drew me to those things. I never expected necessarily that it would have a huge financial return, but that wasn't necessarily really my goal.
So it was your choice, and there is nothing wrong in pursuing your passion, but I just advise everyone to go in with their eyes open. Don't always expect just the best case scenario to play out. So now that you have actually lived through it, tell me, and this question is more, again, financially speaking. I'm not saying like you are passionate about it, you may still enjoy everything. It might have helped you as a person, but do you regret it? Not looking at the financial opportunities or how it will play out, not mapping out your life financially while you were selecting your college degree. Do you regret selecting what you ended up selecting?
I don't necessarily regret selecting what I selected. I maybe regret not continuing my education. I think I would have probably found more financial stability if I pushed forward to get my master's or maybe a doctorate or something, who knows. And one of the only reasons I say that is because when I was discouraged about pursuing that, one of my professors at FAU told me that she didn't have the money to get her master's either, but she got into a program that paid for her living expenses, paid for her food. They gave her all the stipend finances to pursue her degree. So that was a really cool concept to me. And when I went to pursue it, they at, what's the college up, the Gators College, University of Florida, the guy pretty much told me, yeah, you want to be a teacher? I said, not really. He said, what are you doing here? And that was it, really. For the road I chose with philosophy, it seems like everybody either went to law or teaching. Most people did law, which is definitely the more fruitful financial route, I think. But I didn't really have a strong interest in law.
Okay, so I get that. But then tell me, this brings to us to the next question. Why didn't you really do your master's? If you know that master's was the key to success, what stopped you from doing your master's?
I guess I thought I was at a good enough launching off point to pursue something bigger. And I'm not really sure what that is. As you said, I've tried all sorts of different things. I'm passionate about all sorts of different things. I was working on a few novels at the time that I'm on my third draft of one of them and haven't found a publisher and all that yet. But yeah, I guess I just felt like I was at a good place in my life to try to pursue something.
So that maybe there was some sort of a miscalculation. Now that in retrospect, you can see that. So growing up, I know your parents were smart to pay for your college, but otherwise, how was life? Like, how did you see money? What kind of lessons you drew growing up about money? Was money okay, comfortable, or was it tight when you were growing up?
My mom always made really good money. She owns her own hair salon, and we're not wealthy by any stretch, but she always made a good bit more than my dad. And I think as the man or whatever, he felt some insecurity about that, but they got along for a while and we always got by. We never were without shelter, food, water. We always had our necessities covered. I guess I was lacking some financial responsibility early on because I feel like education really dropped the ball with all of that. Like elementary and middle school gave me basically zero money management prep. And I know that sounds early to start, but I really
very
wish
important point. No, again, can you come again what you said about elementary and middle school? That's very important. Nobody realizes it.
Yeah, I remember in elementary and middle school, I didn't get any sort of education on how to handle money, how to handle finances. And I guess it didn't really seem like a great consequence at the time because I was young. I didn't have a lot of money. You get your allowance and whatever, but I really wished I had gotten that guidance early on because I feel like it would have been more ingrained in me. Because by the time I was 12, my dad left and I started having issues with my mom too. Can you imagine my teenage years being my mom? That would have been crazy. Like I was a nasty, evil teenager. I was rotten. Like there were times where I had to go live at my girlfriend's house for 3-4 months while I was in high school at one point. I don't know, going through all sorts of stuff. But all that chaos, it didn't give me a chance to get a firm grasp on how to be financially responsible.
You were talking about your teenage years, like life was, like you turned into someone who you're not proud of now, right? During your teenage years.
Yeah.
I wanted to understand, was it just an emotional trauma because of your parents separating, or there were other issues like you getting into bad companies or bad habits?
It was a lot of things, but I think it's partially just being that age, and it definitely didn't help that my parents split up. And I started going to anger management when I was maybe 15 or so. It helped me, but my mom and I still had our differences. I don't blame her at all. Like she was a single mother trying to raise me through some really tough parts of my life. I remember, it was toward the end of high school, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and it's an intestinal issue that, especially in mornings, caused me to have a lot of trouble. So in my senior year of high school, I missed a lot of mornings. I just couldn't physically get to class, and I did everything I could to catch up and keep up. And at some point toward the end of the year, right, maybe a month before graduation, they asked me to leave the school. And I was blown away. I felt, wow, I know in this day and age that probably wouldn't hold up too well because schools are not looking to get sued over medical whatever. You can't just kick kids out of school for medical stuff. But back then it flew, and I left. I went and got my GED, and I moved to Chicago with my girlfriend. What's that?
No, not with your mom. You're saying with your girlfriend's family?
Yeah, I just moved up there like by myself, and my girlfriend moved up there too. We were going to different colleges up there.
And you're still 15?
No, at this time I was 18.
Yeah. But you did say that you went to live with your girlfriend's family when you were 15.
Oh, yeah, that was a different girlfriend. Yeah, that was when I was like 16 or so. I was dating a girl, and I spent a lot of time with her. I usually slept over there, and we would ride to school together in the morning and stuff. We would race our cars to and from school. We'd always be racing each other.
But when you actually left your mom to stay with her or her family for several months, that was because you had some differences at that time with your mom.
Yeah. It was, my mom and I were just, there was too much arguing. It was too much for either of us to deal with, and we just couldn't really deal with being around each other.
So were parents, like on the other side, were their parents? What I'm asking is, did you have some oversight, or you just decided because she's a single mom and you're not even caring for her oversight, you're making your own decisions? I'm just trying to see how that worked for you. Were you making your own decisions, or you had some guidance from your girlfriend's parents, for example?
Part of it was just that embrace of independence. I was 16. I had my car, my license. I could go anywhere, do anything. And it changed my world a lot. And my girlfriend's parents at the time were really cool and laid back and didn't have a problem with me staying there. And that was how it went on I was with her for a year, and then I was with my other girlfriend after that for a year, the one that I moved to Chicago with. And then once I got to Chicago, when I was 18, my girlfriend up there, she didn't really break up with me. She just stopped talking to me and just ghosted me. And that was really the worst because I got no closure.
And that's a style of breakup. I understand you may not have appreciated that, but she did break up with you. Just that she did it so that that way.
And it's something I didn't realize till later. Yeah, but I realized she broke up with me, but it's something that I would have liked to have gotten. I would have liked it to have been like official, and just because there was girls that I had a chance with in Chicago that I turned down because I was like, hey, I'm in a relationship right now, even though, or I may or may not be. And I guess I was.
Okay.
But,
so coming back to our sort of financial journey, you moved to Chicago, but at some point you finished your college too. Was it in Chicago?
No, I just started college up there, and I really only got one course done. I only did a guitar course up there, and I wasn't able to follow through with my other classes there. I lost motivation. The other factor was because of my Crohn's disease, my doctor had prescribed me, I think it was like trazodone or something, and it was a bad medication for me, and I didn't like it. And I quit cold turkey, which you're not supposed to do with this medication, and it caused me to spiral further into depression. It enhanced my insomnia. It made what was bad worse. And I hardly lasted a year up there before I had to move back here with my mom. And then that's when I went to PBSC to get my AA and FAU to get my bachelor's.
Okay. So post you doing college, did you ever get some decent job? You did mention about doing something in construction. So what was your high point financially speaking? Like how much money were you making? Were you comfortable at any point where you could take care of yourself?
I never made enough money to support myself fully. And that was really disturbing to me because even when I was living with my mom in my 20s and working jobs. The best pay I maybe got was, I don't know, 600 or 700 a week. And I was,
which is decent.
yeah,
You can make that much, you can have a decent life. May not be very comfortable, but
right. But when it came down to adding everything up, the cell phone, the insurance, the everything, it was nothing I could ever afford. I don't currently do this, but there was a time where I was paying my mom rent to live here. I was trying to help her out that way, which may not have been the best idea because I wasn't able to save money to move out, but it at least helped her temporarily.
do you have a sibling?
No, I'm an only child.
Okay. You are there for your mom, which is complimentary as well. But tell me at this point, what is it that you pay for and what is mom taking care of? Rent is mom, right?
So right now, I basically just cover my minimum payments on 2 maxed out credit cards that I have. And that's really all that I can afford to cover on a monthly basis.
So we'll come to the credit card just in a moment. But you're saying mom is paying for rent, food. What about your cell phone? She covers that too?
Yeah, she's paying for my cell phone. The only other stuff
Your
I
card.
cover is like some of our streaming service, like some of our entertainment stuff I cover, but she covers some of that. She covers pretty much everything else.
So, okay. And then whatever little income you have, you say you have to pay minimums on your credit card. So let's talk your credit card. First of all, it's concerning that mom has to pay for everything, but it is what it is. Let's talk about your credit card. So how much is outstanding on your credit card?
So I have 2 credit cards. Each of them has about a $7,000 balance.
So 14,000 in all.
14,000, yeah.
And how much is the minimum that you pay every month?
It's been getting higher. For a while, it was around 220, then 230. Now it's up to 240 a month
This is
for each of them.
each.
So it's around like 480 total for both.
That's fast approaching the money that you're making anyway. That's why you say that pretty much all you could do. So you do realize, because you're seeing it in real time, you do realize that paying the minimum is not enough. It's just you're drowning further and further into debt. Because when
Right.
you pay a minimum, you're just surviving, but your balance is actually increasing. It's not even staying the same.
Yeah, when I pay my minimum payment on one, let's say I paid 240, they're going to hit me with an interest charge of like 160 at least. Out of that 240, it really only takes away like 80 from my principal or whatever.
Yeah.
And
So-
that ends up not even going down in itself. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big concern, Skyler. And you have to really think about it, because as long as you have these credit cards sitting on your head, you can't really just come out of it. Whatever you do, the moment you start making a little bit of more money, these cards will be ready to take it away from you. So you're in a tough situation. I don't even want to ask why you ran this credit card debt, because like you said, you have never made money. You would have probably needed that. Right?
Yeah, it's hard to even say where it went. Part of it is just trying to do things with my girlfriend and trying to enjoy life, going to concerts and stuff like that. And the other
So-
part of it is some more necessary things I have to pay for at times. But
So necessarily, I understand, but frankly, in your situation, I understand we all have life, you have to enjoy life, but having any expenses like going to concerts are costly. Right?
Yeah.
And there are, I would say, less expensive way of going out on either on a date or enjoying your life. So I'm
Yeah,
not
you're
sure if you should have been doing that, spending money on entertainment and concert when you practically have nothing. In fact, you have a lot of debt with knowing.
yeah. Yeah, it's not been a wise decision of me.
But do you guys still do that? Are you still spending money on, say, concerts or having fun? I'm just, like, what do you do now?
We try to keep it to a minimum. So this year we pulled our money together early in the year and we bought our concerts when they had discounted tickets on sale that were $25 each. So we got a bunch of tickets for a bunch of different concerts, and we pretty much bought all our tickets for this whole year's worth of concerts early this year for a discounted rate. And we've gone to all those concerts now. We probably went to, I don't know, I think six or seven concerts this year.
So see, that's where the challenge is. I know that you guys are musically inclined and you value concert, but going to 6 concerts in a year, regardless of what kind of deal you got on the ticket price,
Right.
when you are living with your mom, you have your credit cards maxed out. So as a financial person, I just can't see a situation in the world where somebody like you is actually spending money on concerts.
Right.
You have to find out concerts that are either free or some charity concert. There's so many things happen. So you can still enjoy your music without spending money.
Yeah.
But this problem of yours, where you have your credit cards maxed out and you have no income, can only be solved out with some income, right? End of the day, unless you start bringing out more money, this problem will never go away. And I find it fascinating that despite so many years, you have never found out a way to make more money. The kind of income that you have, frankly, a college kid working in a McDonald's makes more than that.
Yeah, he does.
So they don't need any degree, any qualification to make more money than what you do.
And there's something to say about that, because a friend of mine in Chicago named Craig, he used to make good money designing stained glass for cathedrals up there. And he told me if he lost his job, he would be working at McDonald's the next day, definitively, until he found something else.
Yeah.
Because he would not want to go without work.
So why don't you? That's the question.
I've definitely been on the verge of doing something like that. I probably should. I don't know. I was hoping to find my stride with teaching music. It's the best hourly money I've ever made, but I can't get a lot of hours right now.
So let's talk about that. But I'll tell you one thing. You hear a lot from people who will say you can do quote unquote gigs. There can be gigs over internet, and there are so many other gigs like Uber driving or delivery. If you ask me, knowing you and hearing what you have told me till now, I will advise you against it.
Yeah, the gigs didn't. I used to try to do Uber and Lyft, and it didn't work out well for me.
It won't, because see, again, don't get me wrong. You may have your reasons for it. There is a background to why your emotional state is like that or your thinking is like that. But what I could get is that you don't have the self-discipline that is required to do things on your own. So my friend, you actually need a job, whether you like it or not. You need your boss to tell you that you absolutely have to do this today. You absolutely have to work for 5 hours. Don't care how you're feeling. Unfortunately, that's what you need to make enough money. Because if it is left to you, you will find, and allow me to use the word excuse. It may be, like I said, it may be a valid excuse. It may be a real physical or mental issue that I don't know about. But I'm saying you'll find some reason to not do enough work and not bring enough money. So what you need is an external environment that imposes certain discipline on you, a job that does that for you. Whether it is working in a McDonald's or better, I'm sure there are better options for you. We'll quickly touch upon those. But one should know their own inclination, right? And how they are, what is the makeup that they have, their mental makeup. Like I said, you're not, at least for now, you're not really cut out for, you have not shown in the past the propensity to bring that discipline that a self-employed person needs, right? For you, a job is better. Whether you go and do a job at McDonald's or you do something better is something which we'll go to next. There also, I'll tell you, the advantage of doing something which may even be some sort of like in some way demeaning to you, you may not feel like it's up to your standard. The advantage of doing something like, say, a McDonald's is that it shows you the mirror. It tells you how difficult it is. And this is, you can make some money, but say it's hard work, it's something which you don't enjoy. Then when you go do next, and then when you go to your next opportunity, next time when you will say you find something with music, but you're not thoroughly enjoying it, but you know that my fallback is McDonald's. Right. So I liked what your friend said, that the moment I don't have a job, I will immediately go to McDonald's, because then next opportunity that he has, he will not say no to the next job, or he will not come across like how you said, you sit in a job interview and you give vibes that you don't really need a job. But when you know that, okay, if I say no here, I'm going back to McDonald's tomorrow, then you'll probably be more accommodating to what this new job brings you. So in all these ways, the discipline and showing you what is your worst case scenario so that you feel motivated enough to do something else. I like how your friend presented that my discipline is I am going to keep a job. If my business fails or what I'm doing doesn't work, immediately I'm going back to a job. So that will be my suggestion number one. Pick up something, but don't do gigs, because gigs will just be more like just buying time for you. You're 33, 34, you'll be 38 and you'll just be grappling with different gigs without any real money outcome. So take a job, whatever it is, to just establish a baseline. But now let's talk about the other issue. You are a music teacher, right? And you say you make good money. How much you make per hour if you get a class to teach or a student?
I generally have been getting like 55 an hour for teaching.
It's awesome. If you have a skill that you can sell at 55 an hour, you have a great skill, right? You should be having good life with $55 an hour. How many people can say that they have a skill that can earn them $55 an hour? So now your problem is you're not getting enough hours. And why is that happening? The Palm Beach County have people stop having kids there, or are they not learning music anymore?
It's partially been my own fault. There was a lead I had from the people that I teach for. They passed my information on to another family that was interested in having me teach for them. And it didn't end up going through, but I just have not really done a good job of advertising. I was thinking I need to just put it out there at colleges and wherever else that this is available, and that I could negotiate a price for, I don't know.
I'll tell you how you do it. I am definitely no musician, but I do know a thing or two about business and marketing. And of course, in your situation. So I already told you that somebody like you needs a job. If you become a music teacher where you are advertising yourself, it's still a gig for you and it won't work out for you. Right. Unfortunately, at least not now. So what you need to do is go join a music school. I'm sure they have music schools. Yeah. You should be a teacher in a music school where it's not your job to find a student. Your job is only to teach the student. And maybe you'll not make $55. Maybe you'll only make $30 because the school will keep $20. Right? But that will ensure that you are having so many students, because if somebody is running a music school, I'm sure she has figured it out how to advertise the music school of Palm Beach or something like that, right? Because I'll tell you, I have a 9-year-old girl. She goes to, and she has been to different music schools. She loves her teacher over there, and that teacher is out of time. We can't find a slot with her. We say, I want to come at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. She is running a Google Calendar and she's saying, all my slots are taken. So if you really want to move your child around, it's very difficult because I have other kids here and she may even have a waiting list. She's so popular. And once you start teaching in music school, that also puts your own name out there. I'm assuming you are good in your skill or you will improve. So music school gets you the kids. And then all these kids, then they don't know music school and all. They know I am like Skyler's student. So they and their parents are going and talking about he is great. And It has happened with my own kid. When the teacher moved from one school to another, we moved our kid with her because we like the teacher.
Wow.
And if that teacher, after having established himself or herself in the field for a couple of years, if you, at that point, if you decide, hey, now I want to open my own practice, you don't even need to advertise. You already have 20, 30 kids that you have taught through the school who know you, who are talking about you, who can give you the base to start. And then, of course, referrals work. So that's the way to go about it. If you're just waiting that somebody will bring their kids to me, I have 2 kids, maybe I'll get 3 more, 5 more. It looks good on paper. It's very difficult to establish your own business. So my strong suggestion is you go join a school.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I started learning that concept of we can't do everything. Like I try to make music and write and do art, and I can do all the creative stuff, but I'm really bad at marketing. I'm really bad at selling anything. I'm really bad at promoting myself and doing anything in that realm. And when I was running an internet radio station that we used to have called Weird Radio, I learned working with others, it's best to give up on what you're not good at and find people that complement what you are good at. So what you're saying about teaching, these schools are good at getting students. They have established reputations. They have advertising. They're good at the things that I'm not good at. I'm good at teaching music, and we can complement each other that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you know this, but I wonder why you're not doing it. You spoke about the weird radio station. It's actually weird what you have been doing. Looks like you have just been trying your hands at different things and not worrying about consequences. Frankly, I know that your mom is a great help to you. And as a mom, I really appreciate what she's doing for you. But I also wonder that what if your mom was not there? Maybe you would have gotten some more harder knocks in life and done something better for yourself.
Yeah. One of my friends told me that he said he recommended that I just be homeless. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go there. He's, yeah, just move out. That'll force you to get it. Then you'll get it. Then you'll have the motivation. And
I know it's difficult for a mom, but I'm just saying this is something for moms to do. If she says that this option is just not there for you, if she,
right. I mean,
then probably
there is that, like, the hard love approach is valid. The moms that kick their kids out when they're 18, like, there's validity to that. My mom,
they will see you now, 33-year-old living, and they will, I am kicking my son out. Okay. So, but I also understand that different kids go through different phases in life, and as parents, they feel like supportive. But I'm just saying it's a thought that maybe you need some sort of that hard love and make something of your life. Take some hard decisions. Like I said, join a school and tell yourself, like your friend, that for whatever reason, if I'm not making $2,000, $3,000 next month, I'm working in a job that I will probably not enjoy, like a McDonald's or something. But I'm again saying this world is full of gigs. Please don't get into gigs. That will just continue to put you where you are. You need a fixed income job, at least to start with, where there is some accountability. Because where you are struggling clearly is with accountability. You're not taking it yourself, and there is nobody holding you accountable either in the job or frankly at home. Because your mom and your girlfriend or spouse, for some reason, they are not holding you accountable, which is, frankly speaking, not helping you. If mom says that I'm not keeping you here, you probably have to figure out your living situation. Similarly, if you have a girlfriend or a spouse who says that you need to get your life in order if you want us to be together, probably that will be a motivation. Your loved ones are loving you too much to not push you, honestly speaking.
And I think what that's based around too is like what a job would get me is stability. I haven't had stability in a long time, and it's something I crave. It's something I'm craving, and I'm trying to find it in all the wrong places with these gig type things, playing shows, doing one-off type deals. We even won a film festival earlier this year for best experimental film. So we're all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been through so much chaos and trauma. I've lost a lot of close friends, and my best friends passed away. in a short time span from each other. And it was great fuel creatively. It fueled me to make albums. I've made, if you want to know what I've been doing the past 3 years or whatever, I made 67 albums and I released those. And I have probably
67 albums.
Yeah. And I've got
Wow.
20 more ready to release. Yeah, this is like close to two.
You are an album cranking machine, man. How seven in a what? In a year? Like, I'm just surprised. 6, 7 in a year?
And I tried when in
How much time, Skyler? Like, how much time did you take to make this 67?
3 years I made 67 albums. Yeah.
In 3 years, you made 67 albums. How much money did you make from those 67 albums?
About $200 total.
$200. So it's a $3 an album you have cleared till now. So here is the thing. I understand the creative pursuit, but at what point you analyze what is the outcome that I'm getting? If you are doing it for as a hobby, that's a different matter. But at this point, you do need to make something financially, like you need to make money. Right? These albums are clearly not cutting it for you. Why do you have 20 albums in pipeline? Like you can keep writing song, keep leading song, but what is the point of releasing when you don't know how to monetize those songs?
So the albums for me are like an emotional necessity. I can't afford a therapist. I can't afford, I did therapy for a while after the deaths and everything. And this is my therapy. I determined when my best friend Nick passed in 2017, I tried to just work. I tried to quit music. I just worked 40 plus hours a week. Still didn't make enough to get by. I was making, like I said, it costs like $2,700 a month to live comfortably in this area. And not that I have to live in this area, but this is where all my friends and family are. So it's hard to get away. And I tried focusing just on work. And then it hit me, I guess, around 2019, 2020, especially when my other best friend, Kevin, passed away, that I needed music, no matter how much I tried to get away from it. That's what caused me to go on this musical binge and make all these albums. It's definitely better than doing drugs or something. It's like there's worse things I could have done.
Right. Now, if you have an outlet, that's great. But what I'm saying is don't expect your creative outlets or creative outbursts to also sustain you financially. These are completely different things, particularly for you. So be fair to your creative instincts. Maybe you are a creative person, but it's almost unfair to put that pressure on your creative skills, right? That I need to be, the only way I will say I'm good in music is when this music will start paying for me, my survival. That may not be the right thing to do. That may be almost being cruel to your music, right? Because you may still enjoy music without it paying for your survival. Why not? So don't tie them together, then you'll enjoy it even more.
It makes it so that I'm coming from a place of desperation too. Like if I had a job and I had money coming in and I was just selling paintings and getting music streams, like that would just be additional income. I wouldn't be like so stressed about trying to do it. Right. But when I'm reliant on it, when I know, hey, I need to sell something at this art show tonight, otherwise I'm not going to be able to pay my bill, I come across like a desperate fool. People probably don't want to come within 10 feet of me, like this guy.
That's very true. That's very true. And so you realize that, and I hope you will make those corrections in your life. Tell me, what is this story about Dogecoin? I see something about selling that Dogecoin.
Oh, yeah. So it was maybe the only good investment I ever made. And it probably could have been way better. In fact, no, it could have been way better, but I pushed it too far. So I invested, I don't remember what year, maybe 2019. I only put in $90 into Dogecoin. And right before Elon Musk went on SNL, my Dogecoin portfolio was at $23,000.
Wow.
Based on that $90
insane return, right?
$23,000.
So you managed to turn $90 into $23,000 of Dogecoin.
Yeah. But the sad thing is I didn't sell. For some reason, with the rest of the Doge army, thought, oh, it's going to $1. I thought I could cash out at 30 something thousand. And if I had sold, I could have paid off all my debt. I would have been in so much of a better place right now. And the moral of the story is don't push it. But if you get to that point, sell. And it was a hard way to learn the phrase, what is it? Buy the rumors, sell the news. Just about the hype brought the price up so much, but when Elon Musk actually went on SNL, it ended up going down for whatever reason.
Do you still have your crypto?
I have some still. Yeah, for about the past 6 months, I've been paying at least part of my bills with Dogecoin.
I'm sure you still made money, right? Because you bought it so cheap.
Yeah, it was it was like a one-shot deal, and not a lot of cryptos have jumps like that. But
You bought it at 90, it went up to 23,000, telling you how much you could have done. But practically speaking, where are you with that?
It came back down to 10% of that, like 2,300. And that's what I had been tapping into to sell, to pay my bills.
You're saying in terms of paper losses, you had 90% of your crypto value lost because what it could have been, right? You're just thinking. Okay. That's sad. But like you said, the takeaway is, one, it's a very speculative investment. But I don't blame you. One, you didn't have any other option and you only put $90 in it.
Yeah.
From that perspective, I don't blame you. But the only thing which I don't have to tell you, you have been kicking yourself for that enough, I'm sure, is that when you see decent profit, you should always book profit. There is a famous saying that nobody went broke booking profit. You might have lost the additional profit, like from 23,000 to 30,000, but you could have at least secured the 23,000, right? Sometimes we become very greedy and then lose whatever could have been. Okay.
Yeah.
But at least that, even if it is $2,300, you are making more money on it. That's the positive aspect of it. The risk here, and I want to understand if you're doing the risk here, is you thinking or hoping that you can repeat this with other cryptos. That's the biggest risk that I see. That you'll start putting $90, $100 here and there and wait for the next Dogecoin. Are you doing that?
I only did that once with Shiba Inu coin because there was a lot of hype and speculation around that. And it was another thing where I missed a jump on that one, where if I had invested what I put in just even 2 months prior, it would have been a way bigger gain. But I didn't end up getting any sort of good return from that so far. I think of them like savings accounts. I like I like the volatility of them, be it up or down. At least it's interesting.
That's fine. And then again, when I advise anybody else and what I do for myself is I also delve in crypto, but that can only be a very small portion of your portfolio, which gives you the kicks that you're talking about, the volatility, the kicks. It may suddenly go up, but it is only for money that you can afford to lose completely and don't really care about. As long as it's $90 and all, it's fine. But given your situation, honestly speaking, even that $90 is big money for you at this point.
Yeah, that's
so
half.
Getting into something like a crypto is almost buying a lottery ticket. You can do it once in a while, but you are taking either huge amount of risk or just wasting your money, practically speaking. You don't need to fix your life by getting a stable job, bringing in right amount of money. You have a long way to go. You have huge amount of credit card debt, and frankly, where you are in your life, you may still need some support from your mom, either to get some sort of a launching pad or something. I don't know if she is in a position to do that, but probably you need a way to do a clean start in your life. And you may even want to talk to a financial advisor. I'm not licensed advisor or anything, but maybe talk to them, talk to a lawyer also. For somebody in your situation, even bankruptcy may be an option.
Yeah, I had considered bankruptcy, and I had also thought about, I'm not sure if I would have qualified for it, but I had thought about maybe getting like a $14,000 loan and using that to pay off my debt and paying maybe a much lower interest rate on the loan payments.
It generally doesn't work, because why would somebody give you a lower interest rate loan when you have such high debt? Generally, but if you look at advertising or you talk to somebody, they will end up selling you. They will package it in such a way that you'll feel like you're getting a deal. All you will do is start paying this other guy instead of the previous bank. And most likely there'll be some catch. You'll end up paying even more. So they will just tell you about how your monthly payment will go down from like the 480 they are giving you now only 300. But what they'll not tell you is that your 14,000 will become 20,000, right? Things like that. So it's mostly a trick. Or they will say the interest rate, they'll compare, you're paying 30% now, it will now be only 20%. What they'll not tell you is that there is a one-time fee of $5,000 that they're adding up on top of your 14,000. So they're upfront making it 20,000, but they're now, the interest rate is only 20%. So there's always mostly a catch there. Don't just move loan from here to there. That doesn't help. Having said that, if there are programs where you can negotiate, like these credit card companies at times, if you go into collections and all, they are willing to write off certain debt if you are able to pay a certain amount. So if that is a solution, that you will take a loan of say $5,000 or even $10,000, and the credit card companies will agree that this 10,000 will write off your entire 14,000, then that may be a good deal. And sometimes that happens when you are not able to pay. You negotiate and they agree, okay, fine, I'll let you off the hook with a certain payment only. Nice. Not easy, but something that can be negotiated, right? Or there are services that give you that we will negotiate for you and I'll charge a fee if I'm able to bring it down. So those are the things you can consider, but don't just switch loan. Okay. So do that. But the first order of business is to get on a stable job and start bringing stable payment. That's very important.
Yeah, that sounds like what I need. And it's sad to say it's something I've been like fighting for a while. It's like these 3 years I've spent making all this music and doing all this creative stuff. I've really committed to like trying to make that work. And for one reason or another, it hasn't panned out the way I wanted to financially. So I think it's about time to find some stability.
It is. Any other vice that you have at this point which is causing you to spend money? Or go to concert with your girlfriend, but anything more where you think?
It's weird. It's part of what I'm going through too, has to do with me being reclusive due to what I've been through and my traumas and stuff. And I almost feel like I use these expensive dates and concerts and stuff like that as like a cop-out excuse to not do as much as I should be doing with my girlfriend and getting out there more. And like you said, doing some of these free things together and spending time at going to butterfly gardens and other stuff like that we could really enjoy. Museums and whatever else. There's a lot of free events and free stuff we have access to that we used to take advantage of, but we don't do it as often anymore. So that would probably be good for both of us and for my wallet.
Definitely. So I encourage you to start doing that more. Right? How about car and all? Do you drive a lot? Is that maintaining that car expensive, or is mom taking care of it completely?
I drive not as much as I used to. My main commute is maybe 10 miles away to the art and music warehouse where I spend a lot of time. I lost my car last year, actually. It got totaled in a flood. And my mom got a new car and passed her old car on to me. So I have a functioning car that runs well. And
mom to the rescue again.
Yeah, mom to the rescue. She's the best.
She is. But did you have insurance on your car, like when you lost it to flood? Or
I did, but I didn't get a great reimbursement. We got like $5,000 back from it, and I opted to, we put that toward my mom's new car, and she gave me her old car. So it worked out.
But are you able to pay for your gas and all, gas maintenance?
Not really. No, she pays for my gas. It's a great burden to her, and she's not set up for retirement because of, I'm not going to say just because of me, but I'm certainly one of the main factors that has led to her not having a retirement fund.
At least you realize that, because I was going to say that you should appreciate that she probably would have to work much longer than she would like, because she is taking care of you at this time. So whatever saving she could have done, I'm sure that's getting impacted, right? So the sooner you remove financial dependency on her, the sooner she can start thinking back again about her own retirement.
Yeah.
And you owe it to her. Or better still, if you make it such that you say, Mom, don't worry, I'm there for you, going to be there for you, that's great. But it has to not be just be emotionally, like you have to financially plan for that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Any other, in terms of main, I'm trying to limit it to financial, but any goal that you have that you would really wish that if my finances are much more in order, I like to want to do this?
I'm not sure. I've considered a number of things. I'm always trying new stuff, but I liked the concept of my radio station I had before. It was
A weird radio?
Yeah. Basically, we had myself and 100 other independent musicians from across the world featured on the station. They sent me music, and I didn't charge them anything. I didn't want their money. The idea was that it was always going to be a donation-based thing supported by the listeners of the radio station, like NPR type donation-based entity. And that musicians would be able to have their music submitted and played on our station for free, and we would be able to support ourselves through donations from the community. It didn't work out before, but I guess if I was in a better financial place, I would like to find a better way to do that, or maybe to even do like a podcast version of it. We had a lot of talk shows on the radio station too, so that's part of why I wished we had done a podcast instead.
Okay. So that is something, again, life is long, and if you find yourself in better financial situation down the line, you can always get back to that. But like I said earlier, my recommendation would be you keep your music and creative pursuit aside, and think of first how you'll earn your income, sustain yourself financially, and then again go back to how you will get a creative outlet for your music. You need to separate these two.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think I conflated them for too long. But it's really easy to say, hey, I made 67 albums. Where's all my money? You know what I mean? But it doesn't work like that. It doesn't just translate to money. The same way that like getting a degree doesn't just translate to having money. You have to land that great job. You have to there's more to it, you know?
There is. Okay. Any other questions, Skyler, that I can help you with? You have any?
I think that's good. I really appreciate you talking to me and giving me all this advice. I'm definitely going to take it to heart, and I'm going to seek some stability. Like you were saying, I think getting any job in the meantime to just get some money coming in while I figure things out is a good start. And then trying to get in at maybe PBSC or another music school to teach would be a good route for me. It would involve my passion, and yeah, that seems like a good idea.
Okay. And I'm glad to note that you're open about it. You do realize that's what the problem is, because that's the biggest struggle, to acknowledge that what I was doing may not work out and I may have to make a change. If you're willing to do that, things can quickly start looking different.
And I would say that's the case for a lot of people too, is that the solution's right under your nose and you probably already know the answer. It's something you've told yourself at different points that you didn't take seriously enough, you know. Like I know maybe I could have had more success with the radio station, with my music, with this and that. I did a lot of research and I learned what it took to be successful with some of these other things, but I did not fully pursue them. And I was not always fully capable or didn't feel fully capable of, we can't be everything. I just don't think it's reasonable to say, oh, I'm going to make all this music. I'm going to be an advertising guru. I'm going to be an event coordinator and do all this stuff to the max. I guess on paper it's possible, but it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah, correct. And it depends also, like, so at times you get shortchanged on the way, like you don't see some success quickly, and then it starts becoming more and more difficult. And it works the other way around too, where you start small, you start seeing some smaller success and you build on it. So for some reason or other, it has not worked out for you. That's why I'm saying change track. Don't keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Change track and maybe this new version will work out. For all you know, once you have established this, your song and music will also start paying you. It has happened to many people. Okay. So Skyler, I wish you all the best in your life. And if I can be of any other help, feel free to reach out. I hope that once you start implementing it, you'll be able to turn your financial life around pretty soon.
I appreciate that so much. And thank you for all the great advice. It's what I needed to hear.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. All the best.